Hey guys, welcome back to the Junto Podcast. Today, we're diving into the unexplained.
So today, we are exploring one of America's oldest and most fascinating mysteries, the Gurdon Light, the legendary Gurdon Light.
Now, I've been there, and I'll tell you my experience when I was a kid, but imagine this, standing abandoned on a railroad track late at night. It's completely quiet, except for insects and the occasional rustling in the trees. Suddenly, a glowing light appears in the distance. It begins floating towards you without making a sound. And so, Heather, that's happening to you. What are you going to do?
I'm going to close my eyes and curl up in a ball and pray.
Pretty much.
That's what I'm going to do.
And that's where our aspect of faith comes in. We always bring
There you go.
our perspective of faith into the conversations. But so much history, not only in our great state, but we'll be covering over the next 4 or 5 weeks some, call it mystery, a little bit of history, maybe some unsolved things in the state of Arkansas. And today, the Gurdon Light.
That's right. Mystery of history. So, the Gurdon Light, is it the spirit of a railroad?
Say that fast 5 times.
Railroad worker searching for his lost lantern? Is it a strange natural phenomenon? Or is there another explanation entirely?
And people have been asking those questions for hundreds of years.
Long time. So turn down the lights, grab your favorite drink, and join us as we investigate one of Arkansas's greatest unsolved mysteries, the Gurdon Light. That makes me think of, the TV show Unsolved Mysteries.
Well, ironically, they did an episode of the Gurdon Light.
It's known as the Gurdon Light. For more than 60 years, the same eerie, luminous apparition has been described by hundreds of eyewitnesses. Is it some as yet unexplained natural phenomenon? Or is it, as many say, the restless ghost of a long-dead railroad man doomed to wander the tracks for eternity?
And so, if we can, we'll attach that to the YouTube portion of that for you to watch. So, the Gurdon Light can be seen. What is this thing, right? What is the Gurdon Light and what's it all about?
We know it's a light.
We know it's a light. But
right.
So, the Gurdon Light can be seen just outside the small town of Gurdon in Clark County, Arkansas.
Clark County.
The sightings happen along an old railroad corridor surrounded by dense woods, making the location feel isolated even during the day.
Goodness.
Now imagine, as we're reading this, I'm getting that, I can just feel, and being born in Arkansas and from Arkansas, dense woods are not necessarily uncommon, right? Like even in most towns in Arkansas, you could find a patch of dense woods. So, that's
Very
not
dense.
necessarily uncommon for the state of Arkansas, but there's more to this story as we'll find out.
That's right. So they say that once the sun goes down, it becomes a completely different place.
Wow.
And visitors have described hearing like almost nothing except the sound of like nature, And then, without warning, a mysterious glowing orb appears.
Okay, now that's different. Now this is where it's taken a crazy turn. So you're telling me that it's not what appears to be a standard light, but you're saying this out of the middle of nowhere on an abandoned railroad track in the middle of dense woods that a glowing orb begins to appear.
It's moving. It's a moving glowing orb.
And that's That's kind of what freaks me out. Now, there's a lot of theories behind this, and we're going to see as we go on into the story what exactly this could be. Now, witnesses say the light can be white, blue, orange, or even green. Sometimes it's the size of a baseball. Other times it's much larger. So, so that's throwing me off.
Yeah.
So it's saying that the color can be different. It can be different sizes. And I want you to imagine an isolated place. If it's in dense woods and there's not a lot of things by it, what could it possibly be?
Right. We've got some possible explanations that we'll go over here in a minute. But they do say that the strangest part is not the color. It's how it moves.
Okay.
It floats, it changes direction, it hovers, and occasionally seems to respond to people watching it. Now, I can't deal with that. I can't do that.
I know. And it's taken me back
do that.
to the time that we actually went. And when I say we,
Not me.
not you, but I'll unfold that
Yeah.
in just a moment. Tell us more about the light.
Yes. So every great mystery has a legend, and the Gurdon Light actually has more than one.
Okay.
So you're going to have to use your brains to just,
Yes.
I don't know, figure this thing out.
Right.
And then we probably won't figure it out, but hey, here we go. So the most famous tells a story of the railroad worker. I did good that time.
I'm glad you're
did good that time.
saying that, not me. That's tough.
He was accidentally struck and killed by a train while working at night.
Wow.
Okay.
That's crazy. So
I think that's the only one that I knew.
Right.
I feel like you told me that.
Well, yeah. And I hear that there's more to the story. So according to local folklore, the accident was so violent that the worker was decapitated.
Oh, that's another level.
Right.
Bless it.
His spirit is said to roam the tracks, carrying a lantern, forever searching for his missing head.
Stop right there, man.
Wow.
That's enough to just make me...
Exactly.
Whether you believe ghost stories or not, it's easy to understand why that tale has survived for generations. Because, hey, you told it to me, and when you told me, I was like, got chills and scared. So, yeah, that's a good one right there.
Well, and it's crazy because, like every good story, it has good lore. But the thing about good lore is that there are generally pieces of truth that are in... that make up the lore, if you will, of any type of event. And so, could this be exaggerated for effect? Probably. But what we have to kind of understand, I guess, is that there's probably some truth behind the lore that is that of the Gurdon Light.
And there are definitely things that we don't and won't understand in this life.
Exactly.
This could be one of those.
Well, and here's where history becomes just as fascinating as folklore. Check this out. In December 1931, railroad foreman William McLean was murdered by one of his employees, Lewis McBride, after a disagreement over work assignments.
So that's actual history. That's actually like verified information.
That's real. And that goes back to what I was saying about the lore. Like behind all lore, there's pieces of truth.
There's pieces of truth. And then things get added to and,
That's
for
right.
the effect. So the Great Depression, we all remember that
That's right.
time, had made railroad jobs incredibly valuable. So tensions were high. During the argument, McBride attacked McLean with railroad tools. This word? Killing him near the tracks.
Gosh, that's crazy.
That's real.
Right. Well, and if you look at that piece of history, we're talking about the Great Depression. Can you imagine?
Oh, man.
There's a scarcity. There's already a sense of people living on the edge, and it says that railroad jobs were very valuable because you had to work, and that there wasn't that many jobs available.
Well, and at the time, getting supplies, getting resources to and from different places.
Right.
That's the railroad. That's the big thing of the time.
Well, and it's called the Great Depression, but I'm thinking about great desperation. Think about what you have the capacity to do if you are desperate enough. And what we are seeing here is that William McLean was murdered by Lewis McBride because Lewis McBride became so desperate that he had to do it. And check this out. Not long after the murder, reports of the mysterious light began spreading throughout the local community. And there's two pieces of potential lore that are tied to the Gurdon Light.
Yeah. So many locals believe the glowing orb is actually William McLean's spirit, still walking the railroad nearly a century later.
Wow. That is crazy.
So talk
That is
about
crazy.
some unsettled. What do they say? Not unsettled business. Unfinished
business. Right? Like golly,
It's not finished.
And here's the thing, not to take this to the too crazy, but the reality of it is that we do believe in a spiritual aspect. I mean, think about that. We do believe in a spiritual realm. Yeah. The Bible even tells us that we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities and evil things in high places. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts. However, I do believe in a spirit dimension. That's right.
So let's throw some science in here.
Let's do that.
Okay. Because people like to see science. They like to see proof or,
exactly
potential proof of things.
That's right.
So, of course, not everyone believes the light is paranormal.
That's exactly right. And so one of the explanations suggested, Heather, is that the light was simply vehicle headlights reflecting from Interstate 30. Oh, it's all just headlights.
Gosh. But that theory falls apart pretty quickly because people were reporting the light decades before Interstate 30 even existed. So that one, maybe that works for our day and age, but before
that's exactly right. The interstate didn't exist, so how could it be interstate headlights? It totally falls apart. Now, there's more to the story in terms of theories. Other scientists have suggested swamp gas or glowing gases released from decaying vegetation. Now, this sounds like something right out of Swamp Thing. You know what I mean? Like
really
there's swamp gas and glowing gases and radioactive and all of these things. It's crazy.
Hey, there's some chemicals and reactions and things that happen. I get that. That's real.
Right.
But then there's one of the more interesting ideas.
Okay.
The area contains quartz deposits. This is really cool.
Interesting.
And sits near geological fault lines.
Wow. And we do know that, we're in Crawfordsville, Arkansas, on the border of Arkansas and Tennessee, and we know that we are on the biggest fault line, the New Madrid fault line. And so that's crazy that there's geological fault lines there. And
you say
quartz
Madrid.
deposit.
You say Madrid. I say Madrid.
Madrid.
I guess it is Madrid because Madrid, Spain. Madrid. That's probably like the southern.
Southern. New Madrid. I haven't heard of Madrid, Spain, but I've heard of Madrid, Spain. So that's where
the New Madrid fault line. You're probably right. So.
That is crazy. So crazy.
So what
stuff.
happens with the quartz? Tell us what happens with the quartz.
Well, here's what happens. So when quartz is placed under pressure, it can produce electrical charges through what's called the piezoelectric effect.
Good job
and
there,
I may or may not be pronouncing that right. But again, so this happens, the piezoelectric effect, this takes place when quartz is placed under pressure and it produces these electrical charges. Now listen, some researchers believe those electrical discharges could create glowing balls of plasma. Now listen.
Jeez.
Even if this is true, this is another mystery in and of itself. Like it is crazy to think,
amazing and wild.
I mean, we're talking about discharging glowing balls of plasma. Where can I get some?
He wants some right now.
I want some.
Yeah, I do. So that's a fascinating theory,
right?
But so far, no one has been able to prove that it explains every sighting.
Right.
Like, okay, so that happens like every single time an individual sees the light. I don't know. That's kind of like,
well, and so, what exactly is it? You've got the scientific explanations, and then you have fascinating lore, some of which is historically true, at least in terms of events that took place.
And a murder that actually
can be
took
verified,
place.
Absolutely. And so, what keeps this mystery alive is not the lore, even, and not the glowing balls of plasma, but it's actually the eyewitness accounts, just the sheer number of people who say they have seen it. And it's hard to argue with.
That's true. So we're talking about families. Here's that word again. Railroad workers.
That's right.
Gosh, say that.
Railroad workers.
Railroad workers. Hunters, police officers, paranormal investigators, photographers, and curious travelers. That's a lot. That's a big span of people.
It is.
For eyewitnessing something.
Right.
All the same thing, maybe in different ways, but whatever.
Well, and it's crazy. Now, keep in mind that what's unique about this is that many describe seeing the exact same thing. Like, right. Mm-hmm. So it's one thing for one person to see it and describe it, but over and over and over, people are describing the exact same thing. A glowing orb that quietly moves along the tracks before disappearing into the darkness. And it is crazy.
You know, with eyewitnesses, after hearing someone's story, I could see how others could take that and say, okay, yeah, I saw the same thing. Like maybe manifest in your mind, like that, seeing that same thing. I don't know.
It's true.
Possible.
It is a possibility for sure.
So some even claim that it follows them, right? I would be running away from this plasma ball coming at me.
Probably would be. It's an orb.
And you would too. You would be running.
Well, and here's the thing. Speaking about eyewitnesses, yours truly has been to the Gurdon Light. And it's one of the reasons we chose this.
Yeah.
And so when I was about 15 or 16 years old, a group of us youth, I was living in Hope, Arkansas at the time, and involved in church as a youth. And our youth group, not officially, we were just friends, but we decided one weekend, why don't we go up to the Gurdon Light? Now, Gurdon is not very far from Hope, Arkansas. I don't know the exact mileage. I didn't look it up, but maybe 45 minutes to an hour or so. We get there on what has to be a weeknight. I don't know that it was a weekend. There was a group of about 6 or 7 of us. Now, I can verify that it is, in fact, very dark and there are dense woods. Now, we began this journey, Heather.
Yeah.
And we begin to walk, and we probably get...
And you'll have no adults with you?
No adults whatsoever. The oldest one with us is probably 17.
Oh,
it is absolutely insane. I'm getting chills thinking about this. We begin our trek down the tracks. I don't even think any of us were smart enough to bring a flashlight. Well, probably about... I don't know, a block or two in, we actually approach empty train cars. Now, these were not the enclosed kind. These were actually like what you would haul grain in or cotton. So we literally had to climb up the back, down into it, walk across, climb back out of the car, back down. And we did that. There was probably a string of 3 or 4 cars attached. Guys, we had no flashlight. I was young.
That's crazy.
We could have gotten seriously injured. I mean, we weren't from Gurdon. We were kids. We had no idea what we were doing. That alone was freaky.
Right.
All right. So we get past that, and we walk what seemed to be maybe 2 or 3 miles, and it probably wasn't that. Maybe a mile.
Mm-hmm. And
we saw the orb. Now, in preparing for this episode, I reached out to a friend of mine who was there that night, and I said, answer me honestly. I said, did you see the light too? And he said, yes, I really think that I did. I can verify that the light looked like an orb, and I can also verify that the freakiest thing about it was that once you see the light, once you turn around, as is stated in the lore, it is right in front of you again. Now, it's not super close to you. It's not like it's right in front of your face, but it's certainly close enough where you can see it. And at that point, once you see it and you turn around, now, we were kids. It is really fresh in my mind, though. Now, could this be a case, Heather, of us expecting to see something, and so we did?
Gosh.
Could it be?
Right.
Or could this really be legitimate?
I mean, so in the moment, let me ask you this. In the moment, what were y'all saying? Were y'all speechless? Were you scared and screaming? Or was everyone just like, okay, let's just leave?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of all. I think that we were definitely scared. We were freaked out. I don't know if we were screaming per se, But it was definitely like, oh my gosh, we got to get out of here type of situation.
So everyone kind of in the moment was like, yes, we are seeing this.
Yeah.
This is really happening.
I mean, it was valid in our mind. Now, I couldn't reach out to everybody who was there in that instance.
Right.
But I did reach out to a friend of mine, and I think he's the one who actually drove because he was a year older than me. And so I just want to add that as you're walking down, and we didn't have flashlights, like there are little bridges that you come to for little creeks to pass under. There were reports that we found out later that there were reports of a lot of homeless people and things living under those. So that's enough. Like we could have been encountered by,
goodness.
In addition to this freaky light.
So many things.
So we're talking about eyewitnesses and what keeps this story alive.
Yeah.
And I consider myself to be an eyewitness of the light. Now, let's unpack. Could this just be an expectation and the mind producing what we wanted it to see? That is a possibility. But was it 100% real to me in that moment? Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do we do, Heather?
Wow. So, and the fact that it was a group of you, right? It's not just like two friends going and making each other see the same thing. Like,
exactly.
You saw it, I saw it, we're seeing it together,
Right. Yeah.
So I do consider you an eyewitness.
It's
That's
wild.
Pretty cool.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
Pretty cool. So, thank you for sharing that. That was
Sure.
interesting. Let's talk about pop culture around this thing. It says the mystery eventually became so well known that it caught national attention. And this is what we were talking about earlier.
It really did. And in 1994, Unsolved Mysteries featured the Gurdon Light, introducing millions of viewers to Arkansas's most famous ghost story. Now, you know, there has to be... for it to be featured on Unsolved Mysteries.
It has to be multiple eyewitness, all the things.
Y'all, this is why we're doing a series on Arkansas Unsolved.
There's so many
There's
things.
so much, y'all.
There are some personally that came to me, and we're still doing research and gathering our information, so we're going to cover those as well. But yeah, I'm excited because, a couple of those are kind of local, close, even closer to us now. So.
Exactly.
But back to this. So the Unsolved Mystery. Yeah. They're not going to make a show on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
But we watched that show.
We did. Absolutely.
That was like, you hear the music. I was thinking of
it
the
wasn't
music
William
theme
Shatner.
song.
What was his name? Stack? James Stack or something Stack?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I can see his face right now.
Yeah, very, very famous.
But since the Unsolved Mystery thing, it's appeared in books, documentaries, YouTube investigations, and countless paranormal television shows.
Oh, crazy. And so, Heather, with that, with the lore and with your husband's history of being there in person, it's time to put you on the spot. Is it true in that it's the roaming spirit? Is it ghost or is it science?
Like I said earlier, I feel like there are just things in life that we will never understand. That science tries to make sense of it, and even our minds, we want to make sense of it, because if we don't understand it, we don't like it, it scares us, we're fearful. But I like you said earlier, we do believe in the spiritual realm. We believe that we are spirits. These bodies are not what we are. Our spirits are who and what we are. So I am not one of those people who will say, no, it's the glowing balls, it's plasma, it's the earth, it's chemical reaction stuff. Maybe it is. I don't know. This one's a hard one.
It's extremely hard. And I always think it's fascinating when something has gone this long without being solved. Like, I try to keep an open mind and things of that nature, but there are just so many consistent eyewitness reports spanning decades of time.
Right.
And to completely dismiss a supernatural phenomenon, I don't know if I can do that altogether.
Right.
I feel like, were there an explanation, that we would know it by now. Now,
we would have it.
The only way, flip that on its end, the only way that I think that a logical explanation wouldn't be revealed is just for the town of Gurdon, to draw people to, to keep the mystery alive and to make it an attraction. And maybe there are townspeople that know exactly what it is, but why would they give away that secret? And then their town would no longer have a piece of lore or something unique about it, So I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. But whether it's geology, atmospheric conditions, or something paranormal, like we said, no one has solved it.
No one has solved it.
So here we stand. There's the information.
There's
the eyewitness account of our local Junto podcast host here. So I think that's pretty cool.
So, fellow Arkansans, have you visited the Gurdon Light? If you have, or if you've seen the story about it or witnessed it, we'd love to hear your feedback, your story. Yeah. Is it ghost or is it science? Is it real or is it fake? Is it solved or is it still one of the great Arkansas mysteries that have not yet been solved?
Yeah. Send us a message. Leave a comment. Who knows? You may have an experience that is a piece of the puzzle that maybe we could put together and try and solve it. But let us know. Either way, it's interesting, and I don't know. It's one of those ones that leaves you with chills.
Yeah, we always, this podcast is just so fun that we can discuss these types of things. And of course, we always bring things back to a perspective of faith because that's our motivating and driving factor. But certainly, I think that brings up a point that in this world, y'all, the Bible even says that there's a part of it that's God is a mystery. Right. You know what I mean?
We're not meant to know all things.
His ways are higher than our ways, the Bible says. And so to ever think that we know everything or that we have absolutely everything figured out, I think that is a complete farce. And that's kind of what leaves my mind open to some things. Now, I'm not saying I want to invite anything in besides the Holy Spirit.
I did. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I'm just saying.
That's the Holy Spirit welcome in this house.
That's it. We have to have an awareness. Any other thoughts? Maybe it's not even specific to the Gurdon Light, but just a thought that was prompted by this conversation and this research and so many unsolved things.
So many unsolved things. I just think it's interesting. I like to talk about it. I think people like to talk about these things, whether anyone has any type of resolution for them. I just think everybody comes from a different background, so different experience, and may see it different perspective. So that's just us. We're just presenting the information and talking about it, and I think it's cool.
That's it. Now, if you happen to be from Gurdon and you know what this is all about, and you happen to see this or listen to it, please tell us. We want to know. Is the Gurdon Light fact or fiction? Is it real or fake? Is it ghost or is it science? And of course, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, share this episode with somebody who loves history and folklore, and of course, a good mystery. We're excited over the next 4 to 6 weeks to be bringing some Arkansas Unsolved. Now, some of that's going to be historical, where we're just talking about some Arkansas history, but some of it's going to be, there's some mystery behind or an aspect of being unsolved that sits there in the natural state.
That's right. History's my thing.
I know. You're going to like that.
So good. All right. Until next time, I'm Heather. I'll go first. I'm Heather.
I'm Jeremy. And we'll see you next time on the Junto Podcast.
That's right.
The Together Podcast.